Baltimore's have a golden opportunity. Playoff hopes, the season is on the line these next few weeks. What will the Orioles do for the future? Welcome to another episode of Orioles Digest. And once again, thank you guys and gals for 2,000 subscribers. We've been so lucky to be a part of the Orioles community, and we're going to keep bringing you daily updates with the Baltimore every single day. So we want to give a quick shout out to you guys, all our subscribers. We appreciate the love. We will have live streams coming soon. That's in the work. But something special is brewing in Baltimore. The Baltimore Orioles defeated one of the league's best teams, the New York Yankees, tonight in a 5-3 ball game. Jackson Holliday, 3 hits recorded in the game. Gunnar Henderson, 2 hits. Gary Sanchez had 2 big hits, and he came up big in the beginning of the game to gain some momentum. But Holliday was the guy that kept the spark in the late game innings. And they got another guy we're going to talk about. His name is Ramon. Kind of reminds me of the Ramon Empire, but how often do you think of the Roman Empire? But let's get into our first topic of the day. Okay, let me fix my mic. Sorry, guys. This guy, Adley, over the last month in play, Adley Rutschman has been batting over 300. He's finally starting to at least build some momentum, but he still doesn't feel like his impact is helping this team win games. When Adley Rutschman first came out, his impact we saw in the defensive end, we saw in the offense. He was on base every single game. He was providing sparks, energy, and doing different types of attitudes to pitching staff, different types of guys. But that's just not the Adley Rutschman we have seen since dating back to the All-Star break last year. But this year he kind of struggled, and we've seen the worst of him. But now he's kind of starting to get there. The power is still not where we hope it would be Adley Rutschman career. We thought Adley Rutschman could be a 20, 25, 30 home run type of guy. Maybe consecutive years of 25 home runs plus 25. But that hasn't been the case yet. He's been barely scratching 18, 19. That's been his limit, 15 to 17. So I would like to see more from Adley Rutschman. I would like to see him hit the ball more and play more doubles, extra base hits. I would love to see him on base more. But for right now, we got to talk about Gary Sanchez because the backup catcher is a very important position because you need a catcher. Pitchers, miraculously, I don't know how, pitchers pitch different with different guys. And it's just a comfort zone. So when Yanir Cano goes out there with Gary Sanchez instead of Adley Rutschman, he's given up 3 runs in a half of inning of service. But when he goes out there with Gary Sanchez, he's locked down in 3.5 innings of service and a half a third of inning of service with 2 Ks. So it's a big difference. And Gary's production on the offensive end has been very surprising for me. And especially coming back off an injury, I thought he would just sneak back in, maybe be a 200 hitter, but he's just playing phenomenal, especially against his former team. Gary, I know it was a long time ago, but Gary loves playing against the Yankees. And with the Yankees, Aaron Judge got us. Jazz Chisholm got us earlier with a double, tied the game, kind of got the momentum. Aaron Judge did that 2-run bomb, and it was just like, was is this team going to pull it out? Then Jason Dominguez had that RBI single. So it was like this pitching staff. Sagano didn't have a good day. I think he pitched 3.5 of a third of an inning. Then he had around 7 to 8 hits, gave up 3 earned runs, 3 runs, had about 2, 3 strikeouts, and 3 walks. So Sagano didn't have a good day. High strikeout count. Was not aggressive. Did not get aggressive with first pitch strikes. That's the one thing that we have to think about. When the Orioles pitchers are aggressive, first pitch strikes, they're in the mode. But when you play a team like the Yankees with Aaron Judge, it's kind of hard to do that because you throw that first pitch strike, and Aaron Judge is going to be looking for it every time, and he's going to send it 400 feet, and that's what he did. So, hats off to Aaron Judge. He's a good player. For Gary Sanchez's sake, a backup catcher is good. It's always crazy because Mike Elias finds every a guy like this, every backup catcher, James McCann. It's just been years after years after years producing backup catchers, and they always play a important role in this team. I feel like backup catchers are a very important role to this team. That's why they value them so high. It's like basically other position players because they provide a lot to this bullpen staff and obviously the offense. But Gary Sanchez in general is a good veteran leadership. And then Jordan Westbrook having this guy back, he makes it completely different. I've never seen a guy with whose impact. He might not be the best player. He might not be the most talented. He might not run the fast. He might not be the flashiest. You might not see him with ESPN, but Jordan Westbrook is a top 5 player at his position in baseball. Said this on Twitter. Pretty sure all Oriole fans agree with me. Jordan Westbrook is a top 5 player at his position in baseball. He's so amazing. The thing that Jordan Westbrook does surprise me every game. I really just love his attitude. I love how he shows up to the ballpark every day. I love the fact that he is the motor of this team. When Westbrook's healthy, this team is one of the best teams in the AL when they're healthy. When they're not, obviously the record says they're one of the worst teams. But hey, 5.5 games out of the wild card spot. Out of the wild line. Out of the my excuse me. I got too excited, guys. But 5.5 games out of the last wild card spot. Isn't that amazing for the Baltimore Orioles? We finally have some room. So if the Orioles can go maybe next 10 games, you go 7-3, 8-10. You can even slide in there, probably go like 7-4, but it's kind of 6-4 pushing it. But I think the Baltimore Orioles go about 7-3 these last 10 games and get probably like 3 games. Then you're looking at the All Star break, and if you're like 3 to 4 games from the All Star break, and you're sitting about in 3.5, 4.5 games out of the last wild card spot, it's good. There's 6.5 games out of the second to last, so they have room. This team can get hot. We've seen guys are back, guys are healthy. It's time for the Baltimore Orioles to start trying to do something. So I think it's time for Mike Elias to be buyers at the deadline. We want to bring in another guy, bring in another talented hitter, bring in another star, another Vlad, another big time star that you can add to the team. Then go out you and get you a dominant star. Go out and get Dylan Cease. The Padres are not going to pay him. Cease has not been good this year. You can get him for low cost. Probably just see if he does. If he doesn't do good, you move on from the offseason. But go get Dylan Cease. Um, try to get different types of guy. You just need to try to get that guy. I think it's Mitch Kellerman from Pittsburgh. You can get another guy like that. Just a lot of starting pitchers are available. We need a dominant ace level type of pitcher for this team because there's no hope that Grayson's going to come back and he's going to fill that void. And then Bradish, we're unsure how his return table. They said he's good on his timetable. He's set on schedule, but they haven't decided if he's going to get a start this season. So that's all the information we have on the injury side. But the Baltimore Orioles are a healthy team again. They're winning baseball again, and that's what we want, and that's what we hope for. So that's all we can ask for. The Baltimore Orioles are doing a good job. Tony Manzolino. I always have problem pronouncing some of these names. It's just crazy and take see it in the comments. I got you guys. But he's been a great manager, and I think the Orioles can make a playoff push, but it all depends on how they look at the trade deadline. Thank you for joining the Orioles Digest. Once again, I'm your host, Kam Brice. Give you daily updates about the Baltimore Orioles every single day, so don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications. Once again, I'm your host from Orioles Digest, Kam Brice.